Outnumbered overtime. Oh, Chief, baby. You know, it was interesting to me to see Hillary Clinton talk today because anybody else would have taken up the entire hour, I think. She blew through that speech.
But you know she's under pressure to not pick Elizabeth Warren as a running mate.
She's on the short list. We just got that note.
Because we know that her dollars primarily come from Wall Street, and Wall Street is reportedly threatening the Hillary Clinton camp. Don't pick Elizabeth Warren. She goes against everything that we stand for. That wouldn't be their first pick.
But what's so interesting is you said that Wall Street's concerned and Wall Street's not happy, and yet look where Wall Street's going. They're not supporting him. They're supporting her for the most part. And so I think if you look at where Wall Street money is going, it is going to her.
Why are they supporting Donald Trump, Melissa?
Because Hillary Clinton is bought and paid for. Because it is so easy to give her money for whatever protection you need. I mean, the Clintons have turned politics into a cash machine like nobody before them.
Give me
they
an example of what you mean. Outside of the Clinton campaign, outside of the Clinton Foundation.
I mean that you give them money for a speech, and then while she was Secretary of State, she has business sitting before her that she then decides in your favor. I mean, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal has listed endless, entities that have benefited.
And countries.
Abu Dhabi.
A softball question.
Etihad Airways. I mean, it never ends. And Wall Street feels the same way. I mean, Goldman Sachs doesn't part with money lightly. They would, and it's not. You just watched the speech. Was that speech worth $250,000?
Okay, I have
Did
to
she
be
fire
honest.
up a crowd?
I was thinking that as she was speaking. I was thinking, what about what she's doing right now would you pay for? And then it dawned on me, it wouldn't be the content or the delivery. It would be something else. And so what could that something else be? I don't know.
But you guys, let's
But I've heard you, Julie, say, so why do we even need to see the transcripts? I agree with you.
So
But
let's be realistic. Why do they invite Colin Powell to speak? Why do they invite George Bush to speak? Why do they invite Bill Clinton to speak?
Because they're entertaining.
It's not because
they're entertaining.
It's not because they're entertaining.
Yeah,
it's because these people love to be around celebrities like anybody else. They love to be in a room and take their pictures.
I totally disagree. As somebody who's done a lot of speaking and goes out to things where people are paid to be the headliner, George W. Bush is hilarious. He is entertaining. So is Bill Clinton. I mean, I've been at events
so is Barack Obama.
when they are the headliners. And they're paid big money to be there. They tell you stories from behind the scenes. I mean, they
probably does the same.
No way.
Wait a second.
There's no way that woman can give a decent speech.
I'm telling you right now, honestly, having been with her privately, I know nobody believes me on this. She is a funny woman in private.
The private part.
In the private. So when she's in private in front of Goldman Sachs or whoever she's in front of, I guarantee you she's entertaining. But it's not that. These people, you go to their houses. We've all been to their houses. They have pictures of themselves with Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and George Bush, and the fact that they're important and they get to hang out with important people, and that's what buying money and having money buys you. Come on.
All right. So is Hillary Clinton doing her best to change the topics right now? Yeah. Because we're not talking about the FBI investigation. She's attacking Donald Trump, and while it didn't work for 16 other people within the Republican Party, maybe it can help her change the topic.
Well, if the FBI moves and recommends a prosecution, all of our attention will shift back. I think what she's doing is capitalizing on what has been a rough stretch for the Trump campaign, the firing of their campaign manager on a Monday, by the way. To start the news cycle of the week, they fired the campaign manager.
That's not a good thing? Doesn't that set up for the conversation about where they're going toward the general election? I'm just asking.
I think a big campaign shakeup and really bad fundraising numbers is not where you want to start a news cycle for a week. And I think that she smells some blood in the water. She wants to come in and press the advantage that she has right now. And as we've seen in the last couple of days of polling, the reason that this race is still close is because of what we just saw, frankly. She is not a likable, dynamic person by any stretch. And even when she's making points that I'm nodding and saying that's actually a fair point, a good point against Trump, you can make, in many cases, very similar charges or at least countering charges against her. And I think that's why they both have the advantage of running against each other, and they both have the disadvantage of being themselves.
But you've got to be disciplined enough and have the resources, financial resources, to make that argument. So she's up in swing states right now with millions of dollars worth of TV buys. He either doesn't have the money to do
$0.
Zero. Either doesn't have the money out of his own pocket or will not spend the money out of his own pocket.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
This is not me bashing Donald Trump and saying, oh, she's spending all this and he's spending zero. If you want Donald Trump to beat Hillary Clinton, these are things that he needs to be doing now. So as someone who doesn't want Hillary Clinton to be president, it is frustrating to watch the person that the Republican Party is going to nominate not run a credible responsible campaign up to this point.
And that's exactly right. And secondly, what she's doing right now is, as you said, neither of them is likable. All she has to do is make him just slightly less likable than her. And what she's doing right now is she's defining him in those swing states.
That did not work well against Obama. He said she's likable enough. I mean, that was a campaign point 8 years ago.
But Barack Obama was likable, whether you like him or not as president.
No, he said about her she's likable.
I get it. But you listen, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Right now, she's the one-eyed man.
Oh my gosh, Julie, you did not just call your candidate the one-eyed man.
Compared to him on the likability scale, it's not me saying it, it's people saying it. People don't like her, they just like him less.
By the way, you look beautiful on Facebook Live.
That's so nice. Thank you so much.
Oh,
thank you.
And did you notice her coffee mug matches her dress?
I mean,
is that
No,
intentional?
you know why? Because they took away my coffee. I brought this in from home because the only coffee mugs out there are the 5 coffee mugs. And
we love the 5.
I know, but we're not allowed to cross-promote, I was told by Patch.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
Interesting.
Well, I guess I better burn my after the bell mug then. I'm kidding.
Please. Please.
I'm going to dress
By the way,
up.
the 5 coming at 5 Eastern right here on Fox News Channel.
In this very studio.
That one.
It's good viewing. It's good viewing every day.
We all love each other. Like I love how people just, you can't start something that's not there.
You really put your finger on something that is bothering so many people out there, and that's exactly what I hear from viewers. People that are saying they're frustrated that he is the nominee and that he's not running a responsible campaign. That, this was sort of what they were afraid of.
Can we talk about the word responsible for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That man beat 16 other people in a primary.
Yeah, but that's
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And so now it's turning to the general election. And where I would ask a Trump, surrogate or Mr. Trump himself, why did you let a month go past before
exactly.
you did this?
Exactly.
But to say that not being, kind of basic strategic the way that we've always seen it doesn't work, we don't know that yet. But you do need to start early, no matter what your game is.
And he hasn't, and it's getting late in the game. And the problem for him is he won because he was running against 16 people. How do you run against one other person? It's a very questionable thing.
Well, there's still 2. I think you pointed that out. Poor Bernie.
I'm just reading the chat.
The chat is on fire,
and by
people.
the way, here's the other thing, too.
All right, let's get some in.
He just fired his campaign manager, saying that when he was, and we got some reporting about this, he was Lewandowski, confronted by Trump's kids, asking for specific plans with an eye to the general election, and Lewandowski's answers were so woefully inadequate that Trump decided to fire him. That's his hand-selected campaign manager. So it's when you saw the clip on O'Reilly last night when he's saying it's time to run a new type of campaign.
Right, it was that time a while ago.
It was. And I think the fact that it took him this long, that complicates some of his comments of being such a great manager himself.
Well, one thing it points to is maybe behind the scenes what's been going on. I mean, there was clearly not agreement. Do you want to get some in off the live chat?
There's outrage that we don't have our own coffee mugs.
Oh my goodness! Well, I'm glad
makes
our
a lot of
priorities
sense.
are set.
Thank you. I know.
Terry V. in vet. I'm guessing that stands for Vietnam vet. Hillary has no idea what hard work is. Fight in a war for 5 years, as I did in Vietnam. Raised a daughter by myself, taking on a job I could do from prison guard to taxi, any job, to taxi driver. That, Hillary, is hard work. She had an opportunity, Sandra said it today, she had an opportunity to lay out not just what she would do, but to connect. To try to connect.
She tried with the grandmother thing at first, and even that
I didn't even understand it. Like, now I have more grandmother stories.
No, but I can say, honestly, I have no reason not to. I sat here and watched her start that speech, and I listened from start to finish, and she lost me. There was no differentiating herself from the current administration, which people are clearly not happy with. You look at the polling and people say, I don't feel good about this economy. I don't feel good about my job. I don't feel like I'm not about to lose my job. I don't feel like I'm better off now than I was 8 years ago. That's an issue. She has an opportunity to say, you know what, there
are 3 things I'm going to do.
Yeah, we have similar beliefs, similar goals, but I'm going to do it differently. Here's how. And I don't know. It just looked like a missed opportunity to me.
And I think it was too muddled because she said at the beginning of the speech, I'm going to give a specific speech laying out my plan tomorrow, which is fine. This speech was obviously designed to be just pummeling Trump. But in doing so, there was just, she detoured into some stale talking points constantly, so your eyes glazed over. And then when she got back to Trump, it's like she hadn't read the script before, and it just wasn't effective.
You're right. I think she buried the lead, and we talked about that during the speech, where the last part of the speech was the strongest attack on Trump, and yet it came towards the end after some people like Sandra's eyes were glazed over, not just Sandra.
Sleeping.
As opposed to
Sandra's
starting off very
beautiful
strongly.
when she sleeps.
Yeah.
Too. I just want to get
I
that
think it's
in.
creepy that you know that. What Sandra looks like when she sleeps.
I think they
So I've heard. I want to get this in off of Facebook Live. 1 second. Ruth Knott says, amazing Hillary trashing Wall Street and millionaires while she asked for their money. And by the way, she is a millionaire. How did that happen if she's flat broke? Would you like to take that from Miss Knott on Facebook
Wow,
Live?
that one to end.
I mean, my hat is always off to them. If you look at the financial records of how much money does any one family need? They have hundreds of millions of dollars that they've raked in through all this. Listen, this is the solution here. They both have new grandkids. You put the grandkids side by side. The nation votes on which kid is cuter. That person gets to be president. That's it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Guy Benson, good to see you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Tomorrow and out.